Hey everybody, and welcome to Comics from the Future. I'm Andy.
I'm Matt.
We're here with Infinity Flux Comics out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. And this is our really big show where we show you some of the biggest mess books that you can pre-order this weekend. Your orders are due Sunday by 9 o'clock over at infinityflux.net. So we would really love if you went over there and did that. But we're here to show you some of the best books that you need to get your hands on. Now, a little bit of housekeeping. To start off, we're actually recording this on Wednesday because I'm at a comic book convention signing and doing all of that on Friday. So some of the stuff you see may change. Usually it's not too bad between Wednesday and Friday, but sometimes books get pushed another week. But everything that's there, you can still order.
Yeah, the biggest change is it might be your pre-orders. You'll still be able to pre-order. It's just that the deadline to do that might move out, so that's actually in your favor. And some more variant covers may pop up between now and then, but you can always check infinityflux.net to see all of those variants in case there are some that we don't show today.
Yeah. Some of them, they, last second pop up there. But, you can see them all like you said. So let's get into this week, starting with our featured comics.
We're going to start with X-Men 97 #1. This is the prelude to the upcoming animated series that I think starts around the end of March. This is written by Steve Fox, the artist by Salva Espin. And what's cool about this is it's been created in collaboration with the showrunners. So there should be a nice mesh of comic and show there. It's basically just going to show us what the X-Men have been up to in their time leading up to the animated series. We're told that there are going to be some startling revelations that lead directly into the animated series. So if you're excited for the animated series like we are, then this is probably going to be a really good book for you to check out because it's a nice little primer, to get into that series. So we have this A cover here. We have a Ben Harvey Rogue variant. There is a David Baldeon variant. And then there is a Russell Dauterman variant with all the X-Men sideways.
But this is really cool, too, just because, we've got all of the crazy stuff with Fall of House of X and all of that going on now. But if you just want to read some classic X-Men stuff where you, look at it and you're like, that looks like the X-Men I know, this will be really fun for that. You don't have to worry about the current continuity of stuff. It's just, the X-Men you know and love.
Yep.
So next up we have Ape-Ril special from DC, and you'll be seeing a couple of April-themed comics on this show. But this is really fun. So this is by John Layman, Josh Fialkov, Gene Yang, with a whole host of artists jumping on board with this great Dan Mora A cover here. And what's fun about this, it's actually kind of in continuity with what's going on right now, because in Flash, Gorilla Grodd has they're using him a lot, but he's kind of taken off the table, and that vacuum he creates not being there is going to be filled with a new guerrilla leader for the villains, with Monsieur Mala creating his own Legion of Doom, but all ape related. So that sounds really fun. So what happens? A new Justice League has to be created. The way they spell it out in the solicit is like monkey sounds.
Okay.
You'd have to read it phonetically. But it's going to be made up of, as you can see on the cover, you've got Beppo, who is the super monkey. We got Detective Chimp. We got Gleek. We've got Monkey Prince. And there's the one in the hat and the trench coat. I'm not 100% sure of which ape character that is because DC has so many. But you see you've got so many fun ones on the background as well for the villains. So it's going to be ape-tastic.
I love that the cover says, in this issue, apes.
Apes.
That's it.
What did you think?
Yeah, enough said.
So you got Ultra Humanite there, and just really cool. So we've got some great covers for this as well. This is our A cover. We also have this Bernard Chang cover, great homage to Crescent on Infinite Earths.
I think it was 4 or 5.
Yeah, with Superman and Supergirl.
Or maybe it was 2 or 3. I don't remember the number.
And then this is the HAYDEN Sherman banana scented variant. So I believe this is a little bit more. Yeah, this is a $7.99 copy of it, but it smells like bananas.
Well worth your money to smell like bananas. And next is Sam and Twitch Case Files #1. So this is a new ongoing series. We know that there are several new Spawn and Spawn-related books coming over the next few months or maybe year or so, and this is one of those. This is written by Todd McFarlane, the artist by Simon Kodransky, and with the solicitations don't really give us too much about the actual story itself. It just says that it's a tale of murder and intrigue and deception. It's going to be like a crime noir drama, detective investigation kind of thing. But I just think it's funny that 30 years later, Sam and Twitch are still there doing their thing. They haven't been pushed off to the wayside. They're still there front and center. Now they're getting their own ongoing book. So if you're a big Sam and Twitch fan, do not miss out on this. So this is our only cover too.
Yeah, this is one of the weird things. It's like, I'm not sure if we were doing the show on Friday, if there would be more covers or what. But still, it's up for order. Keep your eyes peeled. There could be more variants, or it could just be the one cover. We're not sure.
Yeah.
Okay, next up is Nacelleverse #0. So this one takes a little bit of explaining, but I'm very excited about it. So this is by Melissa Flores. We have Diogenes. I can never say his name right. Neves, and a bunch more taking this on. And so the Nacelleverse, if you're not familiar, is based on this company called Nacelle, who has acquired a lot of classic toy properties. And if also Nacelle is the people who made the Netflix show, The Toys That Made Us, and the movies that made us. So some really great people working behind this who really love these properties. And they've got all of these, and they're making a shared universe, much the same as Marvel and DC, but this time it's made up of characters like Roboforce, Biker Mice from Mars, which I'm really excited about, Sectars, Power Lords, and more. And it all centers in this Zero issue with the Great Garloo there in the center, whose planet is destroyed, and he goes on a galaxy-spanning search for a new world where he encounters all of these heroes from these different properties. But we do know that we are getting a Biker Mice from Mars miniseries. We're getting a Roboforce miniseries. There's also going to be a Netflix series that's based on some of these. I know Roboforce is the first one that's going to be coming out. They are going all in with these characters. I think it's great. I grew up loving Biker Mice from Mars. I had the toys. Sectars are super fun with their giant insects and all of that. So if any of these kind of spoke to you when you were a kid or you remember them fondly, check this out. I feel like there's a lot of really a lot of heart put behind this of characters they really love. And I just want to see, how do these characters interact? Because they're so wildly different.
Move over, Energon universe.
Yeah.
This is the next big thing.
So of course this is our A cover for that. We also have a Lubera variant where you see a little bit more of those characters, kind of the villains of all of those. We have an INHYUK Lee variant with Biker Mice from Mars, which I love. We have a Ramondelli variant. And there's a blank sketch variant too, where you can draw your own Biker Mouse from Mars. Right. Also, they make toys as well with these properties.
Yeah.
I've already ordered. I've got one of the Sectars in. I've got the Biker Mice from Mars pre-ordered.
So you have your own Nacelleverse shelf.
Yeah. Like all of these things, they are currently making new versions of the toys for too. Nice. So they're all in.
Next is Ultimate Spider-Man #3. The second issue came out this week. Was fantastic. Flew off the shelves. I don't know if we have any left still. But in this one, Peter's new life gets even more complicated than it already is. He and the Green Goblin are going to team up to, because on this Earth, the Green Goblin is a hero. They're going to team up to take on another new supervillain, which I guess that's him on the cover, and that looks like Bullseye to me.
I feel like this is a new Ultimate Bullseye, which is interesting, The characters they're introducing in what order is very interesting, because it's not like, oh, Doc Ock, and then we're getting Kraven. It's like, no, now Spider-Man's going up against Bullseye, so that's cool.
Yeah, so they're going to fight against him. What I'm interested in is, this says that there are secrets about the corporations running North America that are revealed. So like we talked about when we were talking about Ultimate Spider-Man #2, it's nice that there's still, that plot point is still in the background, the plot point of these secret cabals running everything. they haven't forgotten that. That's still a focal point of some of this stuff. So I'm excited to see that. And this solicitation says you will never guess who discovers Spider-Man's secret identity. I feel like saying it that way means that Peter's son or Mary Jane is too obvious.
Yeah.
And maybe even like Uncle Ben's too obvious. Like it's got to be somebody else. But we haven't met that many characters yet, so I don't know. But you know, it could be anybody.
Maybe you should have like Jameson learned before.
Yeah.
Ben did, or something like that.
But
also,
yeah,
do you think Green Goblin is a hero in this? Because when we've seen him, it's not in the best light. He kind of shows up to some dangerous spots.
We haven't seen enough of him yet. I mean, I'm not even convinced that it's Harry.
Yeah.
You know, I have no idea. I mean, it'll be fun to find out though. But yeah, definitely. So again, we talked about this before. These books, these Ultimate Spider-Man books, are going super fast. So get your pre-orders in. The deadline is this weekend. Definitely get them in. Guarantee your copy. That way you don't have to worry about anything. You know, you don't have to worry about missing it. So this is our A cover right here. We have an Elizabeth Torque variant. There is a Mark Bagley connecting variant. We had the Miles cover on number 2. And then there's a Mike Del Mundo variant. Nice homage to Amazing Spider-Man number 50. You know, Spider-Man no more. Nope, Spider-Man just doing laundry. You know.
Yeah. Also, if he's trying to keep everything secret, he probably shouldn't just throw it in the laundry basket with everybody else's clothes.
Yeah.
I believe there's also a Manahini variant that's going to be with this too. It just wasn't ready yet for us to show, but it should be up on the website anytime.
Yeah.
Okay, next up we have Deathstalker. So if you aren't familiar with Deathstalker, it was a 1983 movie. Kind of, I don't want to say low budget, but definitely that kind of movie of that time where they were kind of cranking out the Barbarian, that kind of thing. Probably based on the success of Conan. And it is about our character Deathstalker. And we're returning to that, but the big thing with this one is it is co-written by Slash of Guns N' Roses, famed guitarist, excellent top hat wearer, Slash. So it's really cool to see, you know, another big name from something else, whether an actor or a musician or whatever, getting their hands into comics. Just shows again how people consider comics, you know, a great medium to tell a story in. And how many are comic fans. So this is also co-written by Steven Kostanski and Tim Seeley with art by Jim Terry. And in this, it doesn't say a whole much more than like really hyping up they've got Slash working on it, but it's the cult hero, barbarian hero. This is going to be full of magic and cults, and even his ex-lover, which I looked up. His first appearance is in Deathstalker 2, the movie. So, I mean, they're pulling from the entire... There's like 5 movies in this. Yeah.
I want to see them all now.
Yeah, they're really like fun looking and everything. Very reminiscent of also like the Masters of the Universe movie. Kind of the tone of that. And of course, Deathstalker is going to be over his head with all of this craziness. So, try something new out. I love that Tim Seeley's also involved because he's got a great sense of humor along with this kind of action. So this is our A cover for that. We also have the Terry Premium variant, and it didn't give prices for these, so check with your store about if these are priced up or what the deal with these are. And then also we have a Boyle Premium variant, this time with Slash.
He's not in the book.
Maybe.
Or maybe he is.
It's a big team up between him and Deathstalker.
Next is Miles Morales Spider-Man number 18, and this one is big because this is Legacy number 300, so it's a big anniversary issue. Cody Ziegler is your writer, but there's going to be a bunch of different artists, you know, as Marvel likes to do with their big anniversaries. By the time this comes out, Gang War will be over, but Rabble wants a rematch with Miles, but her powers are out of control. She's desperate. And she may just end up obliterating more than Spider-Man's life. I don't know what that means, but that's all the information we're given for now. So just want to let you know about this big anniversary. If you're a big Miles fan, don't miss out. We have a bunch of covers for this. A cover is here. We have a Bon Coelho What If variant. What if Miles Morales was the Human Torch? Okay, I don't know if that's going to be in the issue somehow.
Well, what if it's just like, what if Miles Morales was highly flammable?
Right, he would be hurt. There's an 80 Granoff variant. There's a David Marquez variant. There is an Insignia variant. And then there is a Mr. Garson variant.
Kind of that collage
Yeah.
thing. It's really interesting, yeah. And you've got Cody Ziegler writing this, who's also going to be writing Deadpool when the
That's
new
right.
Deadpool starts. So.
And he's writing Spider-Punk, too.
Yeah, so a name to watch out for.
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of anniversary specials, we've got Batman Superman World's Finest 25th anniversary issue, or issue 25, but I guess it's not 25th anniversary. This book hasn't been going on for 25 years. But it's the 25th issue, so it's a big deal. This is going to be an oversized book. It's going to have multiple stories, but the main story, and it kind of sounds like it's a one-shot story, but like a special one, is going to be the first meeting of the Joker and Lex Luthor. And how does that all go down, and how well do they work together? I just think this is going to be a really interesting, kind of a thing. It's like you never really thought about, but they know each other.
Yeah.
So it's like, what was that first meeting like of these two very crazy people in their own ways? Plus, there is a backup story that is going to be Doom Might, who I don't think we've seen yet, but they have been doing a lot with the fifth dimensional.
Yeah, there was a lot of that.
Characters.
In the annual that came out just a little while ago. There was a lot of fifth dimension Mr. and Mrs. Pitalik and Batmite and all the other mites.
And this one is Doom Might, which I can only guess is Doomsday Might. I'm not sure, but it'll be cool to see. And it says that he is pointing the way to the next big World's Finest story. So I don't know if it's going to be a big, like, fifth dimensional story.
I think it is. I think I read that the next story arc does involve all the mites and Batman and Superman.
If it was anybody but Mark Waid, I'd be worried. Be like, this is going to get real weird. But I think this is going to be just a lot of fun. So we've got a bunch of covers for this, of course, because it's a big issue. So this is, of course, our Dan Mora A cover. We've got our Jamal Campbell cover. We've got Dustin Nguyen. We've got a Dave Johnson. They're kind of making a heart. It's a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
We've got a Joel Jones variant, a Martinez variant, and this is the big one. Just this weird thing they've been doing this entire series that has nothing to do with the series. Are these like guest star covers with... First off was Jerry Seinfeld for number 1. We had Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
We had
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage. Yeah. Love that one. Mm-hmm. Now we're getting a William Shatner cover by Dan Mora. So these sell out really, really fast. Like, these never stick around. So definitely pre-order this one. Even if you're not reading the series, because it's just a great
It's just fun, yeah.
Okay, next up we have other number 1s. Now, before we get too far into it, just remind you to head over to infinityflux.net right now, where you can pre-order these books so you don't miss out on them. We hate when people can't get the books they want just because they missed pre-ordering them and maybe their store didn't know how many to get. So do that. It helps your store. It helps you out. And everything that you pre-order at infinityflux.net, you get 10% off of. So that's just... an added thank you from us to you. I said you twice. Okay, next up we got other number 1s. There's still a bunch of, I feel like, a pretty heavy indie week this week.
Yeah, we're going to start this section with Morning Star number 1. This is going to be a 5-issue miniseries. It's written by Tim Daniel and David Andrew, and the art is by Marco Finnegan. So this is set in 1956 in the Kootenai National Forest in Montana. There's a smoke jumper named Nathan Garrett, and I guess that's him on the cover there. He actually dies in a raging wildfire, and a year later, his wife Jolene takes her kids to the Morning Star Lookout to sort of get closure with his death and to scatter his remains. But it says something more powerful than their anguish and torment awaits them there, and it's something that transcends space and time. And then I love this line in the solicitation. It says, no telephones, no electricity, no transportation, no escape. So it sounds like it might be kind of a thriller, horror, supernatural thing.
Those are all also just describe a really boring vacation.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there's nothing supernatural about it. Just like the kids are like, Mom, can we go? Although it's 1956, so the kids aren't going to have like devices and stuff anyway. But yeah, just a new, eerie sounding book. An eerie sounding indie book. Sounds fun. So we have our A cover here, and then there is a Skylar Patridge variant, and that's it.
Very cool. Okay, next up we have a new one-shot, another April-themed one-shot, but this time it's the month and the character. So this is TMNT Saturday Morning Adventures April special, and this, of course, is focusing on April. It's going to be 40 pages. That's really big for one of these, and it's going to be by Eric Burnham, and the art is by Sarah Myler. And as you can see on the cover, going to feature Ace Duck. So from what I could tell, it sounds like April gets lost out somewhere looking like Shredder was trying to set up a new technodrome and April was there and got separated or something. The turtles aren't there, but who is there to help? It's Ace Duck. But he's on his own adventure to find treasure in a lost temple, and it sounds like April is coming along for the ride. I love Ace Duck. I think that's such a fun character. So this will be really, really cool. Plus, it's 40 pages. There's a backup story featuring the return of Mona Lisa. So, other fan favorite character from the animated show, Mona Lisa, will have her own story in there as well. And if you've been reading these series, make sure to pre-order this one because it's not part of any of the ongoing Saturday Morning Adventures Ninja Turtles. So order this separately, but I don't think you'll be disappointed. I'm excited for this one. We've got our A cover right here, and then we have a Jones variant as well.
Next is Man's Best #1. This is going to be a 5-issue miniseries as well. This is described as homeward bound on an alien planet. So it follows 3 emotional support pets. They are living on the starship Horizon, which is searching for a new planet to house humanity. You know, it's one of those stories where, you know, humans have ruined the Earth and now we're searching the stars for a new home and that kind of thing. But the ship crashes and the crew is captured, and it's going to be up to these pets to rescue their owners. So they're going to don mech suits and traverse this hostile world in order to rescue their owners. So that sounds pretty cool. We've had a few of these over the last couple of years of like pets in space, animals in space kind of thing. And here is a new one. So we have this A cover right here, and then there is a Forstner variant. That gives me vibes of Stray Dogs.
I think that's one of the artists from Stray Dogs, yeah.
Okay, and then there's the FOC reveal.
Looks like a Jay Lee.
Yeah, that does look like Jay Lee, yeah. I like the rocket on the pug's back.
Okay, next up we have a new Barbaric series. So Barbaric has been doing fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many volumes of this now. What's really funny about this is Barbaric Born in Blood, of course by Michael Morrissey or Morchi, I'm not sure, and Nathan Goodens. And this one, it says, a new era begins, and they say, unlike any other liars, this is actually a good jumping on point with an introduction of new villain. Like in this solicitation, it's like, a bunch of books say there's new jumping on points, but they're all liars.
Yeah.
And we're actually, this is actually a good jumping on point. But I feel like this is such a good blend of like kind of over the top, violent barbaricness and a lot of humor.
Yeah.
Really, really good. So if you've never checked out Barbaric, check it out. You can jump on with this one, what it sounds like. Go back and get some of the older collected editions. It's all great. So this is our A cover. We also have this Howl Premium variant, so you're going to check with your store about pricing, and the Woo Premium variant, which is a awesome homage cover to Berserk Volume 1.
Yeah, I love how Barbaric is kind of just quietly over here off to the side, sort of built out their own world, because it's not just about Owen, the barbarian anymore. Like it's about a lot of other characters, and like you said, there's several different volumes. And you know, it's all really good and funny. I don't hear a lot of people talking about it though, but you know, Vault is over here with their Barbaric universe, just building it out. It's really cool.
Next up, we got notable 2s and 3s continuations of series. To make sure that you don't miss out on. So we're starting off with
Spider-Punk Arms Race #2, and this one, like we said earlier, this is written by Cody Ziegler, the artist by Justin Mason, and in this one, Spider-Punk takes on Taskmaster of this Earth, and what secrets lie underneath the home base of Spider-Punk and his crew, and how does it tie back to Norman Osborn? So seems like no matter which Spider-Man on which Earth and who it is, everything comes back to Norman Osborn. But yeah, so don't miss this. I don't think we've had the first issue of this yet.
Not yet.
So this is one of those times where, you know, you need to get your pre-orders in for issue 2 without having read issue #1 yet. But you know, if you're a big Spider-Punk fan, then definitely get that in. So we have our A cover right here. We have a Jim Mahfood variant. And then there's a Ryan Stegman variant, which is really cool. Ryan Stegman kills it on these Spider-Man
He's
covers.
one of the best, just Spider-Man
Yeah,
artists. He draws Spider-Man so cool. Would you say Green Goblin is Spider-Man's #1
I think
arch
so.
enemy?
In my opinion, yes.
Okay, next up, speaking of spider things, we have
Hmm.
Edge of the Spider-Verse #2. #1 came out this week. We had our story about Weapon 8 and all of that, and the backup stories with Spider-Man 2099. Well, in this one, we've got a story by Kari Andrews, and I actually think this sounds really fun. It's very, like, they took a very wildly different take on the Spider-Man stuff. So we've got Spider High, where we meet Gloomy Miller, and it's not looking good for his first year at school. The villainous teachers are actually out to kill him. And but the good news is he might be able to get a date with a cute cheerleader. But also, what is up with the deadly spooker man who is maybe kind of haunting the school?
Yeah.
This feels like a very almost like Tim Burton
Right.
version of Spider-Man, but I like that it's like inside, it's like all based inside of this school.
Yeah.
I'm guessing the teachers are going to be like, uh Professor Octavius and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So it sounds really fun. I'm very interested in checking this one out. Plus there is a secondary story in it about Cyborg Spider-Man, always one of my favorite looking characters. It even talks about that's like, he doesn't get enough play of Spider-Man in his cyborg suit. So we're going to get a really cool action-packed story of Cyborg Spider-Man. This is our A cover. We also have a Mark Brooks headshot variant with Spider-Woman. And we have this, this is the Pete Woods homage cover. And this is a Star Wars cover. I don't remember which one it is, but it's Vader kind of playing hollow chess with the different Star Wars characters. So it's really cool. Usually Star Wars is like homaging other things. It's cool that a book homages a Star Wars cover.
Right. Next is Cobra Commander #3. #2 came out this week. It was fantastic.
Really
We
good.
love Cobra Commander. And in this one, it says, "What is the secret of Energon?" And Cobra Commander is not the only one looking for Energon. He'll either have to take control of the new organization he's encountered, and I don't know if that's referring to Dreadnoks.
I think it is.
I mean, I don't really see them as an organization. They're just like
they're very loosely organized.
Yeah, they're just like 3 people living in a swamp. But it does say he'll have to take control of them or destroy them. But of course, we know that he's gonna because we actually mentioned when we talked about #2 what it's gonna what does it look like when Cobra Commander, who is fighting the Dreadnoks in #2, how do they eventually get rolled into what will be Cobra? It sounds like that might be a little part of this issue too.
And I feel like Josh Williamson has done such a good job with Cobra Commander of like, he's not all like in your face action. It's how good he is at speaking and manipulating people, that you have these characters who in 1 minute are shooting at him and tying him up, and the next minute they're following him.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
that is Cobra Commander's power. Plus the stuff it mentions about like what does Energon do. If you read issue #2, you see a hint of that, and I'm really excited to see how is that going to play out through the entire Energon universe when you realize what it has the capability of doing.
Right, and I love that the sort of very faint purple glow on that, like the Energon is nearby somewhere and it's glowing. So very cool. This is the only cover we have available right now. The other 2 issues have had a couple of variants. So by the time you see this, there may be a couple more on our website. But as of right now, we only have the A cover.
Which is, I don't know. I just love all the covers, and I love all of these books.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, next up we have the Displaced #2. I really, really like #1. Hopefully people picked it up by Ed Brisson. I thought it was, I don't know, I love like supernatural mystery, and that like, kind of hooks you in the beginning, and you're like, how does this possibly make sense? And as you read the series, it slowly starts piecing together. This is continuing as the survivors of Oshawa, Canada, the city that went missing, not just missing, but like erased from reality. There was like quite a few of them that were not in the city when it disappeared. But now they're slowly disappearing themselves. They've kind of split apart, and there's just no word from them at all. And we're only down to 12 remaining survivors. What is happening to them, and what do you do in a world where you don't exist? it's like they're foreign entities in reality at this point. So I'm really excited to continue reading this. I think it's really, really interesting. So we've got our A cover here, and we also have a Shalvey variant.
Next is The Six Fingers #2. Again, this is a 5-issue miniseries. Issue number 1 came out this week, and like we said before, this is sort of a companion book to The One Hand. Both books focusing on this one murder. The One Hand focusing on the detective investigating that, and this book in following the guy who actually committed the murder. But his life is falling apart, as you know, because of this murder, because he doesn't know why he did it, doesn't even quite remember doing it. And in this one, he begins to fear an outside force at play. And what is this invisible power, and what does it want? Like, why him? That kind of thing. So yeah, if you enjoyed the first one and you're all on board with both of these, here is the second issue. And I love on that, you know, it's a hand, but if you look on the right hand side,
yeah.
it's a little nub, and that was sort of the clue from The One Hand, and it ties it. You know, he got that little nub in the first issue. So yeah, just a really cool thing that they're doing with these two books. So this is our A cover, and then we have a Lawrence Campbell and Lee Larridge variant, and they did. I think that's your interior artist too.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, next up we have Rise of the Powers of 10, #3. I'm not gonna try to explain what's going on in this because it is just wackadoodle crazy. I mean, you're dealing with time and space and outside of reality and all of this. You can see on this cover Xavier's plan to take out Myra at a key moment that will pretty much undo the entire Krakoa saga of the X-Men. Looks like it's getting a step closer, but it can't be that easy. There's going to be something that pops up along the way.
And that looks like how MORA looked during the the Rise. No, I'm sorry. House Powers of 10. Jeez Louise.
10, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, when she met with Xavier on the bench, like that looks like that moment.
That's when it had like that moment she whispered something
Yeah.
to him and everything. But now that might be the moment that things need to change. Yep. So if you read,
he's like, no, don't tell me. I don't want to know.
If you read issue #2, I hope you understood it. I got a good portion of it, but not 100%. But it's really fun, and I'm still digging all of the Fall of the House of X stuff. So this is our A cover. We also have a Baldari Polaris variant, which I have a suspicion she's going to play a big part in the next whatever iteration of what the X-Men are going to be. And then we also have this Mark Brooks headshot variant with Gambit with a little toothpick in his mouth. That's fun.
And then this is Predator Last Hunt #2. The first issue came out this week. You read it and really liked it. And in this one, Theta crash lands on a tundra planet. Her only hope of survival is to trek through the wilds to the nearest outpost, but she is being watched by a predator from the shadows, and they are ready to strike. So, was she not already on the tundra planet?
That kind of just happened in the last issue. It kind of picks up from. They haven't been there long. They're kind of settling in. But,
okay, so that sounds more like the synopsis just for this series overall, not just this issue. And that happens sometimes where they don't give you details about this specific issue. It's just, here's what the series is about. So
yeah, and it also doesn't mention who that guy standing over her is. And that could be a point too, even though he's on the cover, you don't get his name. So that was a really cool part of this issue.
You said longtime readers of Predator, maybe like the Dark Horse era stuff, will know who that is. I didn't know who it was, but cool. After you told me, it sounds really cool.
The art in this is also just fantastic. I thought it was super cool. So
yeah, this is our A cover, and then
I just took over.
And then we have a Paolo Villanelli variant as well.
Okay, next up we've got cool covers. Just a bunch of really cool covers we want to make sure you don't miss out on. Starting with Superman #12. I could also just spend a long time just talking about Superman currently, but we want to highlight these covers. So Superman and Lex must team up to stop the Lex Luthor Revenge Squad. We kind of saw that set up in the previous issue, but I thought this was interesting. The way that he's telling the story is like, you got this story, but then the next story is starting kind of in the background of this, and it's going to kind of snowball because what is the new danger rapidly making its way to Earth?
Oh.
So it sounds like that's maybe part of the next story arc that's we're starting to get hints of here. So, of course, this is our Libramejo variant. And then we also have this Dan Jurgens and Norm Repland wraparound cover, which is really cool. Just classic Dan Jurgens
Yeah.
strong Superman.
Yeah.
So I love that. And it's going to be a wraparound. And I think it is. Oh, it's also only $5.99. So same as the
Nice.
other variants.
And this is Wonder Woman number 7. The sixth issue came out this week. It was awesome. Now, this one it is written by Tom King, but Gilliam March is the artist on this one. And they did so at the very end of issue number 6. It did say that the big story they've been telling with the Sovereign, that's going to continue in number 8, and that's where Daniel Sampere is going to come back. So this is sort of like a little breather issue, I guess, because like I said, Gilliam March is doing the art, and this one is for the Batman who has everything, and Superman and Wonder Woman journey out into space to get a birthday present for Batman. So yeah, so this story is going to be a one and done, nice little break between the first story arc of Wonder Woman and then the next story arc that's going to start in number 8. So this is our B cover, our Totino Tedesco cover. There's a Gilliam March variant, so that's your interior artist for this particular issue. And then there is a Sozamaika Women's History Month variant. That one looks really good.
Yeah, really nice. Sounds like a fun issue. During all this darkness, it's like, throw a fun one in there.
Yeah.
Just to, lighten the mood a little bit.
Yeah, and I doubt you'll have to have read any of the first 6 issues to enjoy this issue. So if you just want like a quick little fun little Wonder Woman story along with Superman, then this will be a good one to get. You can just do it free and clear of anything else.
I love when they're all friends too.
Yeah,
they're getting a gift for Batman.
Right.
That's cool. Okay, next up we have Titans number 9. Number 8 came out this week. Really, really cool seeing the fallout of Beast World. And in this one, it just continues kind of what's been going on with them, where the public image of the Titans is not great, as certain, maybe Amanda Waller fronted groups are saying how dangerous the Titans are, having Beast Boy still in their team, and all of that. So we're dealing with the kind of public image of the Titans. And also Raven, Evil Raven, is hatching a plan inside the team. So a very interesting one there. And this is our Sway variant with really nice Starfire.
Next is Nightwing number 112. This is the Dan Mora variant. I always go for the Dan Mora covers on Nightwing. In this one, he's just continuing his struggle with not being able to leap, his fear of heights and that kind of thing. Batman does investigate this problem, but will he figure it out before there are some serious consequences? We know that this is leading into Tom Taylor and Bruto Redondo's last run, which I think starts with number 114 and runs to 118. So we only have a couple issues. So this is going to lead into all that stuff. So yeah, don't miss it if you've been on board so far. And yeah, just want to show you this Dan Mora cover.
And next up, we've got Catwoman number 63. Nothing like, this isn't a new story arc or anything. This is 9 Lives Part 5. We got some really interesting covers for this. They take a lot of chances with, the artists they use now, which I think is awesome. So we've got this Ratchet Lynn variant, which is a very like manga style.
Yeah.
I really like. And then we also have the Suzumaka Women's History Month variant as well.
And this is Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong number 6. This is the next to last issue of this series. The beacon that's been calling all these monsters, it has been activated, but who is controlling it and what secret has Lex kept under wraps that could change the entire battle? So this series has been super duper fun. Superheroes fighting giant kaiju has been great. And this is the Francis Manapul variant.
And you see Godzilla
and Kong in the shield, yeah.
Reflected.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Okay, next up, I just thought this was really cool and really artsy. This is the Ashley Wood variant for Batman the Brave and the Bold number 11. And I just thought it was really cool. Ashley Wood, I've never seen them do superhero stuff. So.
Yeah, okay. Bless you.
Thank you.
This is Incredible Hulk number 10.
It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, this is the Mark Brooks headshot variant. The Ghost Detective takes the Hulk on a sort of a time-hopping journey back to the 1850s in New Orleans to hunt for a serial killer. Because in order to stop Frozen Charlotte, the Hulk must first understand her past. So the Hulk's going to go tripping through time, basically, and you can read all about it with this Mark Brooks headshot variant.
Looking real mad.
Yeah.
Okay, next up we have Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi number 6. This is the finale of the adaptation of the show in comic form. So, of course, in this one, Reva is trying to use Luke as a bargaining chip against Obi-Wan. But we got some great variants for this. So this is the Erica Durso variant. And then this one is really nice. This is the Han's Women History Month variant with Omega. And as we're filming this, it's Wednesday. The final season of Bad Batch just started. First 3 episodes came out this morning, and I watched them. It's fantastic, and I believe this is the first time Omega has been on a cover, or maybe I don't think she's even been in a comic. So, big one there. And finally, we got graphic novels and more, and we've got some really good ones this time.
This is Red Hood the Hill #0, second print. So this one is kind of interesting though, because Red Hood the Hill #0 was already a reprinting of Red Hood Outlaw number 51 and 52 from, I think it was about a year or 2 ago. And they reprinted those 2 issues because those 2 issues kind of set up the story for what is now the Red Hood the Hill miniseries. So if you missed #0, which again is just a collection of Red Hood Outlaw number 51 and 52, this is the second print of that collection. Yeah.
I feel like this is important though, because I wonder how many people picked up Red Hood the Hill #1 and was like, it feels like I'm jumping into the middle of a story.
Yeah.
And maybe they missed out on getting the 0.
Yeah.
0 is pretty important to the series because this establishes a lot of the characters and the location, all of that. So, if you read that first one, you're like, I liked it, but I didn't understand it completely.
Yeah.
Pick
Grab
this up.
this.
Next up, we have G.I. Joe Real American Hero 305. Just this awesome Andy Kubert variant.
I love that.
There, just, I don't know. I love Cobra Commander, so I thought this one was really cool.
Yeah. All right, so this is this sounds weird.
Yeah, I need you to explain this.
So this is limited collector's edition number 51 facsimile. So what this is back in the day there was a series called Limited Collector's Edition, and number 51 collected Batman numbers 232 and then numbers 242 through 244. So that is this is by Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams, and those issues, those are like our first like big Ra's al Ghul saga. Like this is where Ra's al Ghul kind of gets introduced. So it was originally in those 3 or 4 issues of Batman, but then those were collected way long time ago in this issue called Limited Collector's Edition. So this is the facsimile of the collection of those issues. It's $14.99, but it's 76 pages. It's a big, giant size 10 by 13, like magazine size format.
Magazine.
Yeah, as the original one was back in the day. So this is a facsimile of a collection of single issues, which sounds kind of weird, but it's a great story. You know, this is like I said, it's our sort of first Ra's al Ghul, our first real big introduction to him. Neil Adams, you know, this is super duper classic. So if you want to read some early Ra's al Ghul stuff, this would be a great book to get. You know, with all the original ads, and I don't know
Did
what
this have ads in it?
I don't know. I'm not sure, and I don't know what they did in the original one. Like if the original one contained the ads from the original issues, like it's like a Russian doll, you know, or what nested doll,
Russian nesting doll.
Yeah, so like, you know, oh, this is a facsimile, oh, of a collection, oh, of other things, but yeah, just, you know, don't worry about all that stuff. Just early Ra's al Ghul in nice new printing, and like I said, $14.99, but you get 76 pages with that.
Great wraparound cover.
Yeah,
too.
absolutely.
Okay, next up we have 52 Volume 1. This is a reprint. They've done this a couple of times for 52, but we've never been able to talk about it on the show. I love 52 as a series. This is different than New 52.
Definitely.
DC has always used the number 52. I don't remember what the first usage of it is, but there's 52 weeks in a year.
I think it was this, right? Because this series was weekly.
Yeah.
From Infinite Crisis
between Infinite Crisis and Final Crisis, or
well, it was 1 year later. After Infinite Crisis, it was 1 year later.
Yeah.
But then this showed us what happened in that 1 year, and there was an issue every week.
Yeah, so this was a weekly series by some of the biggest talents you can see on there. You've got Jeff Johns, Grant Morrison, Greg Rucka, Mark Waid, Keith Giffen. Like, this was the top talent working on this. And what was really cool about this, you can kind of see on the cover, is Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman were missing. Now, they knew they weren't dead, I
Right.
believe, but those three basically were like, we've got to take some time off. And so what you got is a bunch of secondary characters really stepping up. So this is a fantastic story about Booster Gold, Renee Montoya, and Vic Sage both as the Question. This is when Renee Montoya takes up the Question garb. This is your first appearance as Kate Kane as Batwoman is in this. This is a great way that it really spotlighted characters that don't always get that kind of treatment.
Black Adam played a big
Black
role
Adam
in it.
was a big thing. It kind of had a rotating cast through the issues. Love this series. I thought it was great. I have every issue of it. I compiled. I found all 52 of them. Also a different series than Countdown, which also had 52 on all of the issues. But this is by far my favorite one. So if you've never read 52, check it out. This really will introduce you. Steel also played a big in Natasha Irons. This will introduce you to a lot of minor characters that will soon become your favorite characters. And this is collected for $49.99, but it's 52 issues.
Right. Well, no.
Well, not this one, but
this is just a trade paperback. So this is I have all four of the original printings of these trades, and this one I want to say is like
this is 1 through 26. So
is it?
That's what I looked up.
Okay, that seems like a lot. Like it seemed for how much is it?
$49.99.
Oh,
yeah. No, this isn't like a little trade.
Oh,
this should be 2 volumes.
I thought this was the reprinting of the one I have, which is like that big.
No,
yeah, okay, yeah.
They did an omnibus form, and they did like these like deluxe versions.
Yeah. All right, so next is the Batman Black Mirror, the deluxe edition hardcover. So this is one of like the bigger Batman stories of the last few years. It's written by Scott Snyder. You have Jock and Francesco Francavilla on art. This is going to be $49.99, and it collects Detective Comics number 871 through 881, and has some bonus material as well. This was right around the Batman R.I.P. and just that era of Batman.
Have you read this?
I don't know. I think I read it. Maybe I don't remember.
So this took place it was in Detective Comics,
right?
And this was Scott Snyder's first Batman story. So this was what basically got him the job on New 52 Batman.
Oh, okay.
This is great story. If I remember correctly, too. It opens with Batman, like there's like a distress call or whatever, and I think it's a museum that he goes into, and he opens up the door, and or it's a hotel in the middle of the entryway is a killer whale just laying there. It's just like such a way of being like, what is going on? But this is a really, really good story that basically like got a lot of people, put Scott Snyder on their radar.
Yeah, I always think, Scott Snyder did the Batman Gates of Gotham around this kind of same time. I think I always kind of thought maybe that was his first, but I think this is it. Yeah, but this is like, it's not all that old. I mean, it may be like 10 or 15 years old.
2010 maybe.
Yeah, but it feels like it's a classic already.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's one of those you have to read. So yeah, like I said, $49.99 deluxe edition hardcover.
And there's a variant for it.
Oh, is there? Yeah, this is the direct market. They're starting to do these now. Like it's very commonplace for an omnibus to have a standard edition cover and a direct market cover, but now we're starting to see, like smaller hardcovers have this. Yeah.
And I also think so. You had Jock on the main story, and then there's a backup story, and I believe the Francavilla backup story was the introduction of James Gordon Jr.
Yes.
As when you learn like, oh, they have a kid and he's a serial killer.
Right.
So just really good. If you've never read it, check this one out. Okay, next up we've got World's Finest Teen Titans. This is the hardcover, collecting the 6 issues by Mark Waid in the kind of World's Finest world. What I liked about this too is once you finish it, there is some through lines, but pretty much every issue is a standalone adventure for the original Teen Titans characters. And it brings in a lot of that World's Finest charm of, they have like a sleepover and they have like, their kids being kids as well as heroes. So I really like this. And it is $24.99 for a hardcover, which is really nice.
Yes. And this is the Daredevil Black Armor trade paperback collecting the 4-issue Daredevil Black Armor miniseries. It just wrapped up, I want to say maybe last week. I really like this, and this is one of those retro series that Marvel puts out, set back when Daredevil was wearing his black armor. It's going to be $15.99 though. It was a great miniseries. The artwork was really good. This would be a great addition to your Daredevil comic collection. I
Yeah,
really like it.
slide it right in there where it goes
Yeah,
chronologically in
absolutely.
your collection. Okay, lastly, we have Hulk Modern Epic Collection. This is volume 6, but it is Who is Red Hulk. And if you've never read the story, this is so good by Jeff Loeb wrote it. And you got this great Ed McGuinness covers. And in this is back when they didn't know Red Hulk just
He
showed
just
up
showed
out
up
of
out of nowhere.
nowhere.
Yeah.
They found his footprints that were steaming because they don't really touch on that anymore with Red Hulk, but like he gets hotter the angrier he is, and he left like these like smoking footprints, everything. And the big question was, who is Red Hulk? It was a big kind of like, you had your cast of characters, like it could be any one of these people. We know now who it is. If you don't know, I won't spoil it for you for the story that's 20 years old or
Right.
something now. But it's really, really fun. And yeah, I just really like Red Hulk, and these are really nice collections. This has Hulk 1 through 12 of that series, and it's got a bunch of other like annuals and that kind of stuff to tell you the full story of the Red Hulk. So check this one out if you've never read it, and it's $44.99. That is it for comics from the future. Like we said before, we are recording this a little early, so head over to infinityflux.net to see what appeared there.
Yeah.
We know like Cobra Commander number 3 has another variant cover that wasn't ready yet, a bunch of that stuff. So you might find some surprises you want when you go on there to do your pre-orders that we always appreciate that you do. We'll be back on Monday with our early comics review video. There's some really good stuff coming out next week you won't want to miss, that'll help you when you head to your local store and pick your stuff up. And I think that's it.
Yep.
Also, if you're in the Chattanooga area, come to Connuga, where I will be set up signing, and Matt's going to help me a couple of the days. So it's also, you can have a Comics from the Future and Infinity Flux YouTube signing fest.
You can come by and tell us what was different on, like,
because we won't be watching
Yeah.
it. So we'd appreciate that. And until next time, see ya.
Yeah.